Hello, welcome back to my channel for a very special video because it's not Sunday. It's not a Sunday at all. This is getting put up on April 1st because in exactly one freaking month, it is the start of my very own creation of a readathon called Mooing with Pride. I came up with this idea entirely myself. The prompts were made entirely by me. I designed the whole thing. This was a labor of love, a labor of just wanting to be able to celebrate Pride. I have participated in Pride Month. I've always read Pride books for June, but this year I really wanted to do my due diligence to read Pride books, but specifically books by PRC authors, minority authors, indie authors. I just really want to put a spotlight on the LGBT community. So I'm actually gonna do it in May and June to give time to just really spread the love. I have created 3 graphics, which I'll be showing on the screen. But this video is to go over the readathon, how the readathon will work, and all that. I'm gonna have a Google Drive with all the graphics, so you don't have to worry about like trying to clip it from this video. But yes, on to what the actual readathon is gonna be like. So I have made this readathon to be as beginner friendly as I can, and it is gonna be entirely however you want to participate. I have made 3 bingo boards with some prompts. That is all I did. However you choose to participate, that's up to you. So you can do 3, so all of them have 9 squares. But I have considered them to be levels 1, 2, and 3. Because they are like getting harder for each one. So if you want to do to bingo, you don't have to do 3 prompts. If you want to just do 3 prompts on one board and bingo and you're done, that's it. You want to fill up an entire board, you can. If you want to do 3 from each one and call it bingos across all boards, you can. I'm giving you the boards, I'm giving you a general idea, and you can run wild. I just ask that you don't change the prompts, because I did work very hard on some of these to come up with. And I just don't take credit for the idea, obviously. But however you want to bingo is up. You want to do outlines, you want to do diagonal, you want to do up and down, you want to do 4 corners. I literally do not care how you decide how you bingo and how you participate in this readathon. You want to do the whole squares for all 3? That's how I'm doing it. I'm going to read 27 books. So I know some readathons people are like, oh, well, I didn't, like they said I gotta do this, this, and this. I'm not telling you how to do anything. I am just gonna walk you through the prompts, tell you what the prompts mean, and then you have free reign over the rest of it. If you want to take longer than May and June, that's fine with me. If you know you're a slow reader and or you're busy those months, but you really want to participate, go until September. Go until April of the next year. I just cannot stress how easy and cozy this is supposed to be. Introducing yourself to some Pride authors, Pride books. So now that I've given that whole tangent, I'm gonna go into each graphic and walk you through what the prompts mean, the level of difficulty, etc., etc., etc. So the very first one that I made, they are all color based. I'm gonna show this on the screen, so don't be like, oh my god, what are they talking about? So the very first one is color based. It is so easy. All you have to do is read a book with the color on the cover. I will say, if it's this doesn't happen very often that colors are in titles, but if the color is in a title, that also works. But the general gist would be if you want to bingo with let's say you wanted to do the top line to bingo, you would find a book with a blue cover, or you'd find a book with an orange cover, or you'd find a book with a pink cover. But if you find a book that's black, but the title is Blue Hippos, then that counts for blue because it has blue in the title. So don't let me make it too difficult if you find a way, or if I don't even know, if the author's first name is Blue, last name Blue, blue initial, the color has to go somewhere. You can't say and it doesn't have to even be the full cover. If it's a cover that's pink and blue, as long as blue is one of the main colors, that works for me. That satisfies the prompt. So on this, I just use all the colors in the rainbow. I have blue, orange, pink, yellow, neutral, because I needed an extra prompt, purple, red, and green. And then the middles, they can act as free spaces, or you can use those as an extra book. So you get to choose personally if you want to read the middle space. So you can either choose not to, or you can read a color of your choice for that middle space. Totally up to you. So this is my very, very beginner level 1 board. So moving on, the second board is actually based off of the colors and the pride flag, but I put prompts around them. So for example, like yellow is in the pride flag, I put it that it represents like sunlight, like simulates like new ideas and thoughts. So the prompt that correlates with yellow was to read a book entirely in the morning time. And then like green is supposed to be like nature, like it's like prosperity and growth. So I put that you read a book outside. Since this is happening, like for the US folks, it'll be happening in the summertime. So like I felt like that'd be a good idea to like just go to the park or something and sit outside and read a book. You don't have to like read the entire book outside, but like you could just read outside for like a time period. And then like the orange, it's meant to be like a fun celebratory color meant for like healing. So I have read a book. What did I say? A book with a fun cover is how I put it. And then obviously red to me means love, so I just put read a romance. And then blue, I actually this one kind of was like my own interpretation, was kind of like community. So I put like read a book with multiple POVs. And then the purple is meant to be like spirit. So I have it to be read a book in your comfort genre. And then the pink and the brown, those were just a way to bring in reading from particular groups of minority authors. So read a book by a queer author, read a book by a POC author, and then the middle is once again can be a free space, or it can be any LGBT book of your choice. So that is how this one works. It's just like some fun props that I thought would be a little bit more difficult to plan books around, but not like super difficult. Like some of these are action based, so like read a book outside, read a book in the morning. Technically, you know, you can do those fairly easy in my opinion. And the very last board is, in my opinion, going to be the hardest one to fulfill. These are ones that are like straight up just prompts that I came up with. So these are just some that are like actual prompts that you have to follow to get the book, and there's not really much wiggle room with these. So I definitely say this is like the hard difficulty. So just going over these so that there's not any kind of confusion. So I have that you're supposed to read the highest rated on your TBR. So you can go onto Storygraph, and I think there is a way to filter by rating, and then you would just pick whatever one's the highest. So whether you're using Storygraph or Goodreads, there should be a way to filter that to get that. And then one that's set in summer, or like I'll accept like if the cover looks springish, cover looks summerish. Like it doesn't have to literally be like this book is set in summer. Like that one is up to a little bit of interpretation, but like don't pick a Christmas book. You know what I mean? Like pick a book that like clearly gives off like summer vibes. And then the next prompt was just a little fun one because International Pride Day is the 28th of June. So I have it that the last page ends in a 2 or 8. So what I mean by that is when you pick up the book and you flip to the very last page, that page number has to end in a 2 or a 8, or you cannot use that book. And then the next one would be released in June of any year. You could read a new release that's coming out this year. You could read a release any year, whatever. It has to have been released in June. No specific date. It could be June 1st, June 12th, June, whatever. It just has to be in June. You should be able to go on Storygraph and very easily find like release dates. And then the middle one is actually not a free space in this one. This one is actually just a prompt. So that's why I said it is the hardest difficulty, because this one you would be reading 9 books if you want to do the full board. So this one is have a non-reader pick between 3 books. Whatever 3 books you want to do, you can just line them up, ask your grandpa, your mailman, whoever, just they can't be a reader. And I will accept it if it's someone that doesn't read very often. Like, my boyfriend reads a book like once every couple of years. That's acceptable. But if it's someone that reads a book fairly often, don't use them. Actually try to find someone that's not a reader. And then the other one would be use a random color generator. You should be able to literally just Google random color generator. It'll come up as a wheel. You'll spin it, and then you'll use whatever color that is. Kind of the same way as the first board. You can use it as a cover. You can use it as the title. Maybe the author has that color in their name somehow. Then the author has the same initial as you. So that's first initial, last initial, middle initial, whatever one you want to use. Maybe they have all three initials the same as you. That would be kind of coincidental. And then book in your favorite genre. And then this third one I actually thought was like really, really cute. So the idea is that you would go on Pinterest and you would just type in like a book recommendation or romance recommendation or like fantasy recommendation, and then whatever book pops up that you haven't read yet, you would use. But I know not everyone uses Pinterest, so you can do the same thing with Google, because sometimes Google does like give you recommendations based off of things that you previously searched for. I will show an example of this in my TBR that I make for this readathon. So that one I feel like might be like the hardest, but I was like the most excited for that one because it just felt so like cutesy of an idea. So those are the boards. I will say I don't love the idea of doubling up books on the same board. So you can double up if you're doing like all three boards, or you're doing two boards or whatever, but like don't use one book to fulfill like all 9 prompts on the same board. But like if you find a book that's like set in summer and it's orange and you're gonna read it outside, you can use that book for all 3 boards. You can do it that way, but like don't double up to like on the same board, if that makes sense. That's like my one wish. I mean, I still am not gonna like show up to your house and like yell at you. I won't know. But that's just like my one personal wish, because I do want people to read as many books as I can, because the whole point of this is introducing yourself to PRC authors and just LGBT authors in general. And if you're doubling up, then you're not going to be reading as many of those authors as you could be. So that is just like my general wish, is that like try to read from as many different authors as you can. I mean, like if it really comes down to it and you just feel like you have to double up on the same board, I mean, I guess I can't stop you. But I would love to be able to track you guys when you're doing this. So I don't know if you do have a YouTube video, you can tag me in your video and I'll come watch it. I do have a Discord that is linked in my YouTube where you can, I'll have a space to talk about them. I'll also be holding like reading sprints, like I said, and my streams in May and June that you can come talk to me about it. I might even hold reading sprints on here. I don't know. Reading sprints on YouTube kind of scare me. But I think I have covered everything, and if you have any questions that I haven't covered or anything that might be confusing you, feel free to comment, or feel free to reach out to me in the Discord, or reach out to me on one of my streams, or just reach out to me on one of my social media platforms. Find me somewhere and ask me, and I will gladly answer. Like I said, these graphics will be in a Google Drive. This officially starts on May 1st. You will see me make a whole TBR for this in a couple of weeks. So my whole point was to get this video out early. That way you already have the graphics in your possession so that you can start putting together a TBR, because you might have to, if you're going to use Libby, you might have to go ahead and put things on hold. That will give you time to be able to go purchase books from stores if you need to. But I think that's it. I am going to be reading all prompts because it is my own readathon. So I was like, I have to do all the boards. So I will be reading 27 books. So you will have an example of how to do all of these books in my TBR video. So if you're watching through this announcement video and you're like, man, I don't really understand how this works, you can always wait till my TBR video to build your own. But you can also reach out to me in the meantime if you have any general questions. But I hope you like these prompts. I hope you like these graphics. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video, and I'm so excited to see what you guys might come up for books. And if you've watched this far into this video, just comment like a heart of any color red, yellow, whatever. Just, you know, or the rainbow. They have a rainbow emoji, don't they? Just anything that seems gay, honestly. That's all from me, guys. I'm gonna get on out of here. Bye-bye.